welcome back to the UIA Trusted Partners Podcast. On today's show, I have Cory Jensen, owner of Cory Jensen Photography. Cory, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, we're alive. We're kicking. Just coming off a long weekend. I think it could have used an extra day in there.
I think so too. It feels like Monday still.
Yeah, I think it's because we got rained out.
I think so.
Most of the weekend was rain, and today is so beautiful outside. So we got teased with a good time. Yeah. Oh, well. But, Cory, now that we get you in the seat, this has been a long time coming. I feel like...
Yeah, we've been talking for a while.
Yeah, I feel like the schedules have not lined up correctly until now, which is awesome. I'm glad to have you in the seat because I believe you are the first photographer that I've had in the show today. So, congratulations on being the first of the industry on the show. And secondly, let's dive right into it here for the listeners and our viewers at home. What services does Cory Jensen Photography include, and how long have you been servicing our area?
All right, sounds good. So my primary focus is event photography. I help clients build media libraries, so build content they can pull from whenever they need to post something to social media or their website.
Love that.
Just a library of content, basically. Headshots, I do in-game sports, do some high school seniors, and super seniors, I call them in families, but I'll try pretty much anything. The super seniors is relatively new this year. So
what is the super seniors, if you don't mind me asking?
So the super seniors is photographing or taking portraits of senior loved ones in their home.
Oh, I love that. Community.
So rather than, I'll use my mom as an example. She turned 91 this year. She lived at home until a few weeks ago. We recently moved her into a senior living community. Around Christmas time, I noticed that we're not going to drag her out to a field to get her picture taken.
Sure.
And she's unsteady on her feet and things like that. And so I set up in her living room and took her portrait. Worked really well and decided I can't be the only one with that challenge. And so I started offering that as a service this year.
I love that. I think that is such a widely missed gap, especially in the photography industry. I think that's a really awesome kind of just niche to kind of just collectively include into your service. That's really, really cool. And I'm glad you explained it because when I first heard super senior, I was like, are we doing like senior photography? Like for the high school seniors, you know, that kind of deal, which I'm sure you can do.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, that is a really, really cool thing. We'll have to definitely add that to my questions in there somewhere. I'll think of one. Right. But I am a little curious because not every industry has this just bright, shining star. Oh my gosh, this is my call sign to do this. But I am curious where this calling or maybe the drive came from to be in your industry and do what you're doing.
That's a good question. I've had a camera in my hand since I was young, since film days, to age myself just a little bit. But it was always a hobby. It was
very cool.
Just taking family portraits or just the candid photos at Christmas. I was the annoying relative that always had the camera and was capturing those photos. I quit for a little while, and then my sons started playing baseball. I have two boys. They're 17 and 19. They played baseball for about 12 years.
Right on.
And I can't sit on the sidelines. I get too bored. And so I picked the camera back up and started taking pictures of them playing baseball. And
nice.
Have thousands and thousands of pictures. Like everybody else, I had another job, had an unexpected career change.
We all love those.
Oh yeah, the reductions in force. I got hit with one of those in 2023 and tried to decide what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be when I grow up, I kind of jokingly say. And my wife said, well, why don't you try photography? She said, you're pretty good at it and you like it, so why don't you try that? And so that kind of rolled the ball and from there. So
yeah, man, it's been a hustle. I've seen you pretty much everywhere and anywhere. I feel like whether it's an MBA event, whether it's Center Sphere, whether it's even Omaha Power Breakfasts and all those, I see you kind of pop up from time to time. So you're moving, you're working, and you're hopefully staying busy there.
I'm trying. I could be a little busier, but I'm trying to get out there.
Well, hopefully we can help with that. So if you got anything that you were going to be needing, your website's linked down in the description below. They can reach right out to you.
Perfect.
Unless there's a better way of contact that we need to put on there.
No, website's great.
Perfect.
There's contact forms and phone numbers and email addresses right on there. So.
Perfect. So if you are interested, you need to talk a little bit more detail with Cory. That's the way to go. It's right in the description of this conversation that you are listening to right now. Of course, got to know here, I'm on the artist side myself. I took years of art in school. I did photography as well. I'm a broadcaster by trade. So one of the funny things I always got to know is your services particular. There's a lot of different things you can do with photography, and especially with what you're offering here. Yeah. What would you say was maybe your most used service that you offer, and maybe one that you think maybe businesses or even individuals just don't capitalize enough on?
The one I get hired for the most is events.
Sure.
Just galas, teacher events, anything and everything along the events line. Those are super fun. I learn a lot of great things about the clients that I'm serving in those cases. Sometimes it's nonprofits with their fantastic missions, and sometimes it's business organizations, and I learn a lot more than I knew when walking in. So those are always fun. Underutilized, shockingly, is headshots.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't seem to put a priority on headshots, even though that's the first thing that sometimes people see when they go to your profile or your signature line. Pull up somebody's profile on LinkedIn and you go to meet them in person and they don't look like that person.
Yeah, that headshot was done 15 years ago. And
Exactly. It's like,
I've run into that.
You don't look like that anymore. So it's one of those things that's easy to forget, but it's sometimes the first impact that people have.
That's interesting. That's not one that I would have pegged being like the most underutilized, because being business professionals, and I talk to so many, that seems to always be top of mind somewhere. Business cards, email signatures, you have to have an important and professional looking photo. No, that's a wild answer. I was not expecting that.
Well, and I think part of the challenge is it can be time consuming to set up. And I think the impression is, I got work to do. I can't take an hour or two to get these portraits done. In reality, sometimes it can be done in 10 or 15 minutes.
Right.
I do them on site, so I come to you, set up in your office as long as there's a place to do it.
Even easier.
You work until I holler at you. You come, we do some photos of you and hopefully your colleagues, and you're back to work in 15 minutes.
Quick and painless.
That's how I try to do it.
I love that. Especially coming out to the location, that makes it so much more palatable for those busybody mindsets that, they're out there and they need those services. But like you said, sometimes it's getting them to pry themselves free is the problem. So, no, I like that, especially being able to accommodate coming to them. Now, we might have touched on this with the website, but is that the best way for viewers to reach out and book a session with you, or how is the best way?
To book a session, I always start with a consultation call. Sure. Because I want to make sure that I'm the right photographer and they're the right client. It's a mutual relationship, and I try not to have it be transactional.
No, I get that.
Sometimes you can go online and you can book a photo session with some photographers and you just go in and you do it. They don't really know anything about you, and I'd rather know a little bit. Make sure we're on the same page with what you're looking for and what I'm going to deliver. And you can, like we talked about on the website, there's a contact form there. You can contact me via my cell phone. It's 402-881-0706. Or my email address is just Cory at Cory Jensen Photography, and that's Cory without an E, just C-O-R-Y. So.
I get the D-I-L-L-O-N a lot, so I feel you.
Everybody wants to throw an E in it.
I know. I don't know why. I love that. So we'll have some of that linked down in the description below, of course. Website's going to be on there for sure. We'll try to get the email and cell phone linked in there as well. Now, what goes into a business session? I saw this on your website here, and I kind of wanted to touch on this. Now, is this a on location for you, or is this a we need to come to location for you?
It really depends on the type of session. Headshots can be done either in the studio or on location. Really depends on the amount of space available and what the client prefers.
Sure.
A lot of times it's just on location, or once in a while I'll do kind of a headshot pop-up where you can just come into the studio, and again, you got to pry yourself away for 5 or 10 minutes, but you get out of the office, get a cup of coffee, get your headshot, go back to work. So those types are kind of variable. The other types, we talked about events and galas. That's going to be wherever the gala is being held, or golf tournaments too. I forgot that earlier, but golf tournaments as well.
Yeah, I was like, how can you forget those? It's been all summer.
I know, it's crazy, but yeah, those are all, of course, on site. The other types, the media library creation, those are going to be at the client's location, because those are really spotlighting the client's mission and what they do. Sometimes it's in pictures of their employees at work. Sometimes it's clients, and sometimes it's interactions between clients and employees. So it really kind of depends on the type of content that they need to really focus on what they do as a business and what they want to show to their clients in their social media or their website.
I think it's a really great service that you offer, honestly. I really do, because I think a lot of times that's the piece that sometimes business owners, or maybe just people in charge or in those decision makings, they just kind of overlook it sometimes. Like, oh, well, yeah, we're a personal client. We want to be one-on-one with each other, but then they never post anything about their employees or anything that's engaging. So I think that's a really smart and helpful creative tool for business owners and manager types alike.
Well, and sometimes too, they'll rely on cell phone photos for those type of photos.
Right.
Or just whoever happens to be there and have their cell phone out at the time, which cell phones take great pictures. And sometimes that's the best way to go, because it's quick and easy and it's done. But if you're going to post something on your social media and your website, you want it to be cohesive, and cell phone photos aren't always the best. And when you have 2, 3, 4, 5 different people taking photos, you have a lot of inconsistency between the photos, and that impacts your branding. They may not all be taken from the same vantage point, the same style, and then your brand gets to be a little incohesive.
Yeah, and I think people maybe overlook too, like, oh yeah, just grab your cell phone, just do that. Well, if I've got, I've got a Google Pixel, and you've got an iPhone, and he's got a Droid, we're all going to have different pictures. Exactly. We can take the exact same static picture, but we'll all have different pictures. Exactly. So it is important to talk to professionals like yourself, get those quality, kind of consistent module pictures, so to speak. Yep. I love that. Now, $1 million question for you, and I'm sure this one is the one that makes your ears and eyes roll. Just you're like, yeah, you should be doing business with me. But, why should we do business with you? Because I think that's an important question to kind of let you shine a little bit of just what it makes your photography business stand out.
For me, I think my goal is to always create great images and have a good time, but I'm also the one that's going to do what I say I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. I've gotten hired, it's kind of surprising to me, but I've gotten hired by a few clients that were frustrated by past experiences where they hired somebody that didn't show up or they weren't on the same page. That's the reason for the consultation call. Yep. They weren't on the same page. And frankly, if a client isn't happy with the process, I'm not happy. And so I don't have it written, but I have kind of an unspoken client guarantee. Yeah. If a client's not happy, I'll redo it. And frankly, if I'm not happy, there's times that I'll ask a client to redo a shoot. I did that with one of the super senior clients. I set up in a community, and I took a picture of this couple, been married for 66 years. And I took the first picture, and it wasn't good enough in my mind. They probably would have been completely happy with it. Sure. And I had to go back because the day we had it scheduled for, they had some people that were ill that day. So we said, can we do a second session? And I'm like, yeah, of course. We'll come back and do it again. And I asked them, I said, can you invite this couple to come back one more time? Because I'm not happy with the picture. I sent them the reason or the picture and told them why. And the couple came back. Picture's fantastic.
I love that.
One of the best pictures I've ever taken.
I love that. And I think that kind of speaks a little volume to just you behind the business, having that eye for it, having that attention to detail, and having the passion that goes with it. Because not everybody's going to go, oh, I'll come back and I'll do that on my own time kind of thing. Like, there's not a lot of people that do that. So I do love that. That is one of the shining examples that, hey, the super senior portraits, it just wasn't good enough to your caliber. I love that. Yeah. Now, a little curious, this is a little personal question here. What are some of your favorite kind of photography shoots? You had mentioned sports shooting beforehand, getting your boys in baseball and all that. Yeah. And then you've mentioned different venues, events, and so on and so forth. What's your kind of preferred, what are you really liking to get into?
That's a hard question because I only shoot the things that I like to shoot. Yeah. There's a reason why I don't photograph babies and weddings and maternity. Fair. I could probably do it. I don't feel like I'm connected there. My wife won't let me do boudoir, so that's taken off the table. I don't want to do it anyway. She gave that a hard no. The ones that I'd like to shoot, like I mentioned before, I always learn something about the clients that I'm shooting, whether it's an individual or a business. What I'm really enjoying right now is those super seniors. Taking those photos that hopefully are going to become family heirlooms. That's going to sit on somebody's shelf for years to come, and frankly, it might be the last photo of that person. Yeah. And in that case, it's definitely going to become that treasured heirloom that's going to be there all the time.
Yeah, and the last thing you want is a cell phone picture that you had to download and print off and then lose pixels in. And
exactly. Yeah. If you could find it on your cell phone anyway.
That's a great point. And if you can even print it off of your cell phone, because not all of them like to do that either. So, no, that's a great point to talk to somebody like yourself, a trusted professional in the community, and just somebody who's going to give you quality without me having to ask you for it. I think that's a weird thing to say, but at the same time, I've run into so many, and this is just me, not with photographers, but just with industries in general, services that I've needed, and it's almost like I have to ask them for the quality part of things instead of them just doing their job and doing the best that they can do. I don't know why. I feel like I've just had a bad luck streak, but it's refreshing to hear it.
And sometimes a business owner, the best thing they can do is just show up and do their job. Yeah. Do what they're supposed to be doing and answer the phone call. And I know this wasn't part of the plan, but I used to own a mystery shopping company here in town about 10 years ago. Really? Had it for about 11 years. And we would do some competitive shops. Mm-hmm. And what always stood out on the competitive shops, if you want to stand out from your competition, it's not that complicated. Answer your phone and do what you say you're going to do. Yep. Or now it's answer emails and instant messages and texts and whatever else. But answer it and do what you say you're going to do.
It's like it's honesty and accountability.
Yeah, because it's amazing how many people don't. How many people don't answer that call or say, I'm going to get you a quote in a week, and they never send that quote.
Yep.
So.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Crickets.
Exactly.
Yep. No,
exactly.
It's unfortunate, but I'm hoping that maybe it's just a weird bump in the world right now and everything's going to pick back up where it should here. Yeah. Now, I'm a little curious because in your industry, things can go wrong pretty quick.
Yep.
On the broadcast side of things, we always said Murphy ride shotgun everywhere you go. So I'm a little curious how you navigate changes that might happen into a photo shoot. Maybe a kid gets sick. Maybe it's just the super seniors there just not feeling well that day.
Yeah.
How do you kind of navigate some of those?
It kind of depends on the issue.
Sure.
Some issues you can't avoid and some of them you can't change. You can't control.
Right.
If you're playing an outdoor shoot, either you got to have a plan B, and I'm a big believer in plan B and plan C. If it's an outdoor shoot, you got to have a backup indoor location.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just have to call it and reschedule it for a different day.
It's fair.
If a kid is sick, or like these super seniors when they were ill, it was scheduling a second day to come back and do those. I'm also a big believer in there's a solution to every problem. Mm-hmm. You just got to find it. So like I mentioned, I photographed my mom in her house. Honestly, that day I didn't bring the stuff that I needed because I've got backdrops and I've got lights and I've got all sorts of stuff. I brought about half of what I did, so I had to use stuff that was around her house to complement the light that I brought because I didn't bring enough lights, and I didn't bring a reflector to bounce light back underneath her chin, so we didn't have dark shadows here. So I had to use something that she had in her home to bounce that light back up. And so, was it the way it should have been done? No, not exactly. Did it look good at the end? Yeah, and that was the whole point. So
I love that. I'm a big fan of improvisation because sometimes you just got to improvise. Yeah. Nothing can be scripted out fully.
That's true.
And I was having flashbacks as you're describing the lighting. I was having flashbacks to broadcast school. I'm like, I remember so many lights on you because I had to do TV portions and part of the radio. So I had to be an anchor at certain points.
Yep.
No, that was not my calling. I can read the teleprompter just fine, but the heat from the lights this way and then complemented by the underlights that you were just so talking about, I don't know how a lot of those professionals really do it and not just sit there and sweat.
Yeah, I don't either. Luckily, the lights that I use, they're strobes, so they just flash. They're not constant.
Nice.
And so they're battery operated, so I can take them anywhere.
So you're not cooking your customers.
I'm not cooking my customers, at least not yet. I think about getting some continuous lights every once in a while.
I mean, they do give you the best light. They are really good.
Yeah, they make some really good ones.
See, now we're just, well, this is too much. We'll start going in the weeds here.
Definitely going in the weeds. So.
Now, social media viewers and followers out there, go on out there and like Cory Jensen Photography. Where can we find you on social media?
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Most of the stuff that I post is on Facebook. A little bit more on Instagram, LinkedIn, and just kind of depends on the day.
Yeah, LinkedIn definitely feels more like that's just more of the business kind of handshaking platform, so to speak. And then Facebook, Instagram is really good ways to present what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I love that. And of course, when we post episodes, that's the 3 that we hit. So we'll tag you right in there.
Yeah, and the audiences that I go after with the super seniors and some of the high school sports shoots, Facebook and Instagram is where they're going to find me anyway. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's super cool too that my old broadcaster side of me coming out, that you're keeping in touch with high school athletics and being on the sidelines, getting pictures of those, because I was a big football fan. I still am a big football fan. I played 6-man football. Wow. So that's a funny shoot for you, the pictures. 12 dudes running out on the field.
Might be easier. Fewer players might be.
Might be. I always felt like it might be tougher to get good shots because there's so much open space. And there'd be people in the stands right behind the picture.
Well, if you're doing it well, you're cropping in on that player in the action.
True.
So you're not really getting the background.
That's true.
The challenge with football especially is getting those inside linemen because everybody's in the way.
Yep.
You're trying to get that center, and everybody's between you and the center. So.
Come on, centers. Got to get your photo ops. Get everybody out of the side.
Out of the way.
I love it. Now, of course, events. Just wanted to highlight and make sure if you are part of any upcoming events or that you're putting any on, that we can give you a little bit of spotlight here to help our audience kind of come find you and meet you in person.
I don't have anything scheduled right now. I'm trying to grow mostly those super senior sessions, so you might see me at some of the senior networking events now.
Yeah.
And those are done, like I said, on site, either in the apartment or in the person's home. And we take a lot of time to get them done and get them done right and make it as easy as possible on those clients, because we want to take our time.
Of course. And last thing you want to do is start trying to rush somebody's grandma and grandpa.
Exactly.
You don't want to be that guy.
Exactly. And, I hear better stories if we take some time.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, nothing says friendly or like just taking your time, setting everything up, making sure they're comfortable. Yeah, you can get some fun stuff out of some fun stories too. Now, for those of us who never get to kind of peek behind the curtain, now it's on all sunshine and rainbows here. Yeah. I do want to know, what is some part of the job that you feel just doesn't quite get that spotlight or just maybe the recognition it deserves?
I think it's all the time that is spent not taking the photo.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people are like, oh, I just need a couple of pictures. It's like, well, to get a couple of pictures, we have to scout locations. We have to do that consultation call to make sure we get what you want. We have to make sure that everything is done right in the photo session, lighting and compositing and all that stuff, or composing, all that kind of stuff. And then editing after the fact is very time consuming.
Yep.
So that's the feedback that I get the most often. It's like, oh, I just need a couple pictures. It's like, well, to give you a couple of pictures,
it's still a couple of hours of your day.
Yeah, and it's not, you can't, some photographers might be able to do it, some really, really good, but I doubt they can even. Like, I'm not to the point where I can take a couple of pictures and they're all going to be great.
Yeah, that's pretty hard to do whoever you are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a talent, let alone a skill to capture the image once in the 100 shots that you might get, let alone doing it the first click every time. Like, all right.
It varies a little bit depending on the event and the type of photos. I take a lot fewer portraits, but I still, if I'm, for these senior sessions, I put them in different poses and kind of get their hands up there a little bit and things like that. And, I might end up taking 30 pictures. I'll probably show them 10. Yeah. And they might choose 3.
It's usually how it goes.
Which is perfectly fine. That's kind of the nature of the beast. So.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point out, because I've actually joked about that on the show before, that the podcast here is the easy part. Me recording and forming up the questions for people, that's the easy part. I give my editor all the credit in the world, because he's got to sieve through everything. He's got to make sure it looks concise, and he's got the job to polish it, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I always have been the fan that editing is the hardest part of any line of media work.
Yep.
I just don't know anybody else who would disagree on that one. But
well, the ones who would disagree are the ones that don't do it.
That's true. That's the guy who didn't have to write any of his stories, and he never has to touch the board.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, of course, we had kind of mentioned not always sunshine and rainbows. I'm a little curious, what's been some recent challenges or maybe just a big obstacle that you've had to either overcome for your organization or those you're serving?
We kind of touched on, I think, one of the biggest ones, cell phones.
Yeah.
It used to be back in the day, if you wanted to get a really good picture, you had to hire a photographer, or you had to spend a lot of money on a really good camera to get it. And now everybody's got a pretty good camera in their pocket. And I think sometimes that can devalue the photographer, because you can take a quick picture. So the need for a photographer has changed. It's more around events and specific reasons and getting that really high quality portrait, rather than that candid that you're going to capture with a cell phone. I think the intentionality around photography has changed too, because if you wanted to get a good portrait, you had to plan it. And now we take a ton of pictures. I kind of joke, because the super senior photography, it's all based around prints. And I kind of halfway joke, but it's not really. I have a picture of my father. He passed away in 1998. And I have a picture of him that's on a shelf in my house all the time. And I say, if I had to find that picture in my cell phone, taken in 1998, pre-digital, so it had to be scanned in, I would never find it unless I put it someplace where I was going to save it. Because you were more intentional, so you took the picture and you printed it and you displayed it. Now we take pictures and we have a million pictures on our cell phone, and it's my dog, and it's something that I ate last night that I really liked, and the mess that my kids left on the counter that I need them to pick up, and a flyer from somebody that has an event coming up that I need to remember, and that picture of my dad would be so far down I'd probably never find it. So
no, I get that completely, because as much of a blessing as cameras in our pocket can be, there are definite detriments to them. Because I've thought about that too. I had my grandparents pass away a couple of years back, and that was the thing, is everybody was pulling out cell phones, doing the last ofs kind of thing. And I was looking through my phone the other day, And to your credit, yeah, it was pretty difficult to just find pictures that I had taken. Not that I downloaded out of the messages or anything like that, just ones that I personally had taken. It took me a minute to find them, which, I don't know, didn't make me feel the best, because I'm with you. I grew up in the physical media era. It's look, feel, touch. It was just kind of an odd moment to kind of reflect on that. But it is such an oddly prevalent thing to have in today's world. It's like, yep, we have these cameras. We can grab a great quick picture. But then, like you're talking, that still frame that's going to sit there forever. Yep. Your camera is not going to do that on your phone.
No. I even encourage people, like, even if you have a cell phone picture and you have a really good one of somebody that you care about, or just one that you even just like, take a moment to print it.
Yeah.
Because that picture of my dad that's sitting on the shelf, I don't look at it every time I walk in my living room, but it's always there. Whether I see it consciously or not, it's always there.
Yeah.
And if I had to dig through my cell phone, I probably wouldn't see it nearly as often.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think that's a great mindset to keep about just personal keepsakes like that and physical, tangible pictures these days. Yeah. Now, not always doom and gloom, not always bumps and obstacles on the road here, but I'm a little curious. Since you've began your journey here with Cory Jensen Photography, what's one of the best moments that you can recall that it's been able to give you?
I touched on one with the couple that had been married for 66 years. That was one. Bud and Nadine are their names. The other one that comes to mind also is super senior. It's a woman. I took her picture. It's actually on my website, I think. But she had come in to get her photo taken. I set up in a community area of the community.
I get what you mean. The public area.
Yeah, public area of the community, and people just came as they were ready within a time frame to get their picture taken. And I always like to have a little conversation, get them a little bit comfortable with me, because they never met me before. They don't know who I am. And so we talked for a little bit, and she had shared with me that she hadn't had her photo taken, her portrait taken, since her grandson was 2.
Wow.
And her grandson was now 32. Wow. So 30 years since she got her portrait taken, and in the last 2 years, she's lost 180 pounds. So she was way overdue to get her picture taken. And so luckily I could capture that, and she was very happy with the photos, and I have no doubt that her grandson has a print of her right now. So.
Well, and man, 180 pounds, 30-year span of getting a physical print. I'm just thinking, like, one of my aunts or something like that, Yeah. Could you imagine just that new, like, photo that comes in the mail and just go, holy smoke, like, Aunt Kathy looks great, or, whoever. But just what a cool moment. I love that. Yeah. Now, one of my final personal questions here for you. What is something here you want us viewers or listeners to know about when it either comes to your business or maybe about your industry in general?
Okay. We haven't talked about AI, and I feel like we should probably talk about AI photography. Because it's coming up a lot. And somebody asked me once a little while ago if I thought that AI would replace photography. And I don't think it will.
I don't think it can. Not yet.
Yeah, for most cases, I don't think it can, because a lot of the photography is based around events and specific things that AI just can't capture, because it's not going to be there. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to capture the person in the place. Part of it is the place where they're going to be. AI has definitely helped speed up some of my workflows, because there's some software that I use that they've incorporated AI into some of the editing on the back end.
Nice.
So it's made it a little bit faster. I still got to know how to use it and know what to do.
It's true.
Because I can't just put the picture in there and say, hey, fix it.
Do the work.
So to say they do that, I've tried it. They don't work that great yet. Like, I still got to go in and spend a bunch of time checking them. I think headshots down the road might be the only thing that could potentially be replaced. I could see that one. But even now, like, if somebody has an AI headshot on their portrait, on their profile, I can usually spot that it's AI. There's something about just it that's not quite right.
Yeah, it almost looks like they have like a camera filter on.
Yeah.
The selfie filters it's just something weird about the AI. Like, it's not even a filter, but it's just the AI portrayal of those pictures, I guess, or how they build it. I don't
know what it is, but it always makes me feel a little bit uneasy.
Yeah, it's
and as bad as it is to say, I think that uneasiness in the picture can extend over to the person. Like, if you're uneasy with how they're portrayed in their portrait, you might be uneasy with them just in general, potentially.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'd be worried about that myself.
I could see that though, and it's just kind of a weird thing when I see that as people's active pictures. Just this weird AI. Again, there's some really helpful and useful AI out there. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, all AI is bad, down with the machines.
Yeah.
There's some really helpful things out there. But yeah, I don't at least in our lifetime, I don't think we'll see AI take over the picture realm and be able to put you all out of a job. I don't think that'll happen.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Maybe one day it'll sell insurance for all of us, and then we can just ignore the robocalls.
If you can do something about my rates, that'd be great.
Well, we're happy to take a look. Now, that was our professional questions for you today. We have a couple fun personal ones to wrap up the show here. Right. One of which, friend of the show, Blake Martin with FranNet, he gifted me this box after coming on. These are all just random questions. And he goes, I don't know if you'll ever be able to use these, but if you can, here you go. Right. So, pull 3 from this side, and we will see what we got today. And we'll kind of go back and forth with what we got. And if they're bad questions, we can pull some new ones. Because there's been a couple ones that are interesting, to say the least.
I know Blake, and I trust him, but I don't know. This makes me a little nervous. I've known Blake for a long time.
I started networking in with him. This probably would have been about a year ago, maybe a little bit more. Started running into him more at events, getting to know him a little bit more. Yeah. Him and I just... he was doing the 50-mile march last week. I was part of that with him, and on the media side of things, that was a lot. Yeah. But man, he trucked through it.
I saw a lot of his social media posts about it.
Yeah, there were certain stops. I was like, man, you're looking a little rough, Blake. You doing all right? And he goes, oh yeah, we're gonna get there.
I don't know, 50 miles. It's a long ways to hike.
I made it close to half, and that was a lot. Yeah. I was woefully unprepared.
I ran into somebody that I know. I actually have photographed her son playing baseball and basketball stuff. She was part of it as well, and she planned for a year for the 50-mile march.
Yeah, I believe it.
Training a year ahead. Because I told her, I'm like, I don't know that I could do that. She's like, well, if you start training right now, and this was a month before the march, start training right now, you might be ready for next year.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing is, I got told that. I was like, oh yeah, if you have about 2 months, you're good. It's like, I had about 2 weeks. Yeah. So, no, and it was no discredit anywhere. I just kind of got lost in the shuffle, which they had plenty to organize. So it's understandable that I got left out somewhere. But no, we got it all figured out. Great event, great turnout. I think they actually only had like 4 or 5 people drop this year. So wonderful event for them. But we're digressing. Yep. We got questions to roll through. So your questions, sir.
All right. So you want me to just read it off?
Sure.
Oh, wow. Would you rather age forward or backwards from this point?
Oh, boy. Part of me wants to say backwards because of my joints.
I would say backwards just because I'm older than most people think I am.
Fair enough, yeah.
If I age forward too fast, I'm not going to be here anymore. So. Actually, if I could go backwards, I would have started doing the photography long before I did.
Yeah, fair enough.
But, I got busy with a day job, and it kind of took the back seat. And
life happens.
So, I would have started sooner. But
I think I get that. I'm with you. I think we're going backwards on that one.
So, all right. Second one. Which language would you like to speak fluently?
Ooh, that's kind of a good one.
That is a good one. I've always kind of been interested in, and I don't know any languages other than English, and some people would probably say I don't speak that very well. But I've always been interested in like German or Russian. Yeah. But for necessity, Spanish. When I went to high school, Spanish was optional, so I never took it. And there are so many Spanish-speaking people around, I'd love to be able to communicate better with them. Mm-hmm. So probably that one.
I'm with you. Like, honestly, Germany and Italian, like both those languages have always kind of jumped out towards me. Yeah. I did take a little bit of Spanish in high school. I was forced to take 2 years of it. Yeah. The problem with the Spanish that I took was that I was being taught Spain Spanish and not Mexico Spanish, which there is a difference. If you don't know that, there is a difference. And I learned this because a friend of mine, I was trying to practice a little bit of my Spanish, and I spoke a sentence to him, and he turned around and went, "What?" And he kind of explained that, like, in their version of that language, I was completely off. Like, I sounded like a crazy person. Oh, wow. Because my sentence structure was off. Yeah. So I just sounded very confused, I think was how he had put it. To nicely put it, how he put it.
I did not know there was a difference. It makes sense, but
just different dialects. Like there's Cuban Spanish, there's Portuguese Spanish. Yeah, I never really had given it too much thought in that era as well until it was told to me, well, yeah, you're learning Spain Spanish. And I went, huh. And they basically joked that that's proper Spanish. Like, that's the English kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So then I got to change that to Mexican Spanish.
There you go. Mexico Spanish.
I think that would be the most useful.
I do too. I really wish that I was more fluent and like could actually hold better conversations that way. Because I can only say a few sentences and understand a few sentences.
I know a few words. I think I learned them on Sesame Street.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you.
All right, last question. If money were no object, what kind of party would you throw?
Oh, that's a dangerous question for me. Personally, my party would be like if you combined The Great Gatsby just in today's era. So better drinks and less, maybe less stuffy attire, but still like having something big and extravagant like that, I think would be super fun to just be a part of and around.
I don't know. That's a tough one because I'm kind of beyond my party age.
That's the thing. I don't really party anymore, but
yeah, I don't remember the last time I partied. It was not good the next day.
Yeah, I think that's
2 days later.
right.
Even. Probably something with a lot of music, not necessarily dancing, but a lot of music, a lot of good music, a lot of good food outside. I don't know what you would call that.
Yeah, like an in and out kind of venue to where big open area outside, but you can step away inside. Yeah.
Yeah, where you can go out and listen to some music and have a good time, but you can also, people don't always believe this, but I'm pretty introverted. So I'd have to have a space where I could go inside and like have a conversation with one-on-one or two or three people at the most.
Yeah.
And just have that place where I can hear you and not have to try to hear you over the music and all the crowd and everything else.
Right.
But if a good song came on, I'd want to go and hear that good song too. So
I'm with you. I think that's a pretty good, like, I think they call them garden parties. That comes to mind for some reason. Yeah, it's like everybody's mostly outside, but you can step away to the inside if you need to. Yeah, I'm with those. I like those. Good questions this time around. Yeah. Alrighty, well, one of our traditional, I'll call it a staple question here on the show. I like to pose this as if I'm coming in from out of town. I might be a family member, maybe a friend of yours. Never been to Omaha before. Yep. You're stuck working today. Well, while you're working, what's your Mount Rushmore that I got to come see while I'm killing some time in Omaha here?
Yeah, and that was a tough one.
It's tough.
That's tough because there's a lot of good things. I mean, we got good baseball, we got good volleyball, we got good basketball,
we're spoiled.
Good football not too far away.
Yeah.
We got a lot of great restaurants, really cool neighborhoods. But the one thing you'd have to go see, it's got to be the zoo.
Number one answer on the show.
I can imagine. I mean, we got a world-class zoo right here.
Literally, the number one in the world. Definitely on the list. Always go.
And they're making it better all the time.
Yeah. Plus, I think they've got their big night coming. It's something night at the zoo.
Oh yeah.
They're doing that coming up here, which I know is a huge promotion for them, which is a very, very fun kind of experience to go check out as well. So, the zoo definitely the number one answer. Any food restaurants that you're kind of just up on lately?
Not really. I like to work my way around.
I do too.
One of my favorites is Sergeant Pepper's on Saddle Creek.
Love Sergeant Pepper. They've been kind of under the thumb a little bit though, because they had a lot of construction over there.
They have. They had the streets all around the place torn up. I used to work with Dana that owns the place. And so I connect with her every once in a while. And they tore up the roads all around there with construction and made it really hard to get there.
Right.
So, she's doing some stuff with some nonprofits to help some nonprofits while they're struggling with getting people to their door. And I know she's still doing catering and things like that, but
I love it.
Definitely Sergeant Pepper's would be on top of the list.
Yeah, it's been a minute. You know what? It's been a minute since I've had Sergeant Pepper, so I think I'm going to have to experience it again.
Me too. I need to make it over there too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to invite him onto the show as well. I don't think we haven't had a lot of restaurants on the show.
No, you should definitely. Yeah. If you need contact, I can connect you.
We're happy to do that. Yeah, Dana, if you're listening. You're coming on the show. Now, our very last question of the day here. What is something here in Omaha, or maybe the surrounding communities here, that you wish people either just knew more about or supported more?
Yeah. I don't think people realize how many nonprofits are in town, how many charities. Some of the work that I do, some of the events and the galas and things like that are with a lot of nonprofits. Charities for Hope and Angels Among Us and just Outlook Nebraska, things like that, just a ton of them. And they're always looking for people to come and help and volunteer. It's not always about giving money, sometimes it's about giving time. And they always need people to come and help them move their mission forward.
Yep.
And so I think that's one of the big things. It's just the challenge that I've always had, and I've kind of figured out a little bit, I'm the type that I would like to help everybody,
Me
but
too.
I can't. I don't have that kind of time.
I don't have that bandwidth.
Right, exactly. And so I for a while, I kind of went the wrong way, and I can't help everybody, so I wasn't really helping anybody. And then I'm like, you know what? That's not the right way to go either. So now I just try to pick somebody that I can help. And sometimes I've donated photography services to some of the nonprofits and help get some pictures for them for their media library or just to cover an event or things like that. I got to keep that under control because if I could give it all away, I would to nonprofits, but I can't.
Guys like us with a big heart, It's hard to say no.
Exactly. But it's better to say yes to one thing than no to everything.
Yeah.
And there's enough nonprofits in town that you can find something that speaks to your heart.
Absolutely. Whether it's animals, whether it's people, whether it's children, there is a nonprofit around here for something that you can find. And we've had a lot of them on the show. So be a friend, scroll through the episodes here, click one. You might just find a company or a nonprofit you want to be a part of.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Cory, it's been a day. My brain, we're down in the afternoons. My brain's going fuzzy here, but I really want to thank you for finally getting here on the show because I know it's been a lot on my end trying to balance out when we could get you pulled in. So really appreciate you working with us. Again, we've had the distinct pleasure to sit down with Cory Jensen of Cory Jensen Photography. Cory, before we let you go, is there anything you want to leave us off with?
It was great talking to you. I appreciate the time. It was a great conversation, and hope you like the episode.
Yeah, I think they will. And I think if you need professional photography services, you just click that link down below, fill out that form, and Cory will reach on out to you and get something on the books, especially that consultation. Super important part. Yeah. Love that. So, Cory, one more time, thank you so much for coming on to the show. And viewers, thank you for tuning in to today's show. We'll have more coming up next time right here on the UIA Trusted Partners Podcast. Be a friend, tell a friend, share this episode.